Hello, this is Casey from Coding Kit, and today I'll be unboxing the iPhone X or 10. Now let's get started. So this is the iPhone 10. I just took off the plastic on it. I'm so excited. So let's get started. So they have this on top just like before. That's new, just like on the iPhone 7. Same plug, same this. No. Now take this in. Wow. Look at that color. It's so much different than the Space Gray. And it looks kind of like the old 4S. Let's power it up. Now that it's booting up, let's see what they give you in this box. You get hello. They've changed this. Before they had 3D touch on this. Okay, so I've been playing around with this phone for a little bit, and I think it's great. If you look, they give you some very nice things. The swipe up is very nice. The swiping up is so nice. Face ID works great. I love using it. I'll make a video later. But also how beautiful it runs. Like you know how you do it when you swipe between apps. That's very smooth and simple. But another small downside about the X is that not many apps support the X. So if you were to open up many social media, almost all apps are just even pages right here. All of this is all. If you were to open something like if I were to open this document and it opens up, you have all this black and all of that on the top, and that's quite annoying. Also, another thing that many people ask, does 3D touch work on this? 3D touch works great, but also the control center, because when you swipe up, it just goes here. Control center is, if you go here, you get control center. If you go here, you get your notifications. Also, the camera on this is great. The dual optical image stabilization is very nice. And also another thing, on many other devices, when you, like for example, the 6, when you take all the things on your top, you have your HDR, all that stuff, your flash, timer, and stuff like that. All that stuff, when you turn it around, many of them you don't have live photos on that. So here you have live photos here. Also, portrait selfies. It is another very nice thing. Also, portrait mode works great on this phone. It works a lot better than other generations, like the 8 Plus is not very good. And portrait lighting. Many people ask about the notch. So when you're doing anything like watching videos, listening to music, the notch doesn't really get in the way. Normally it really hides the notch. And this phone is really made to be a phone that's more like a portrait phone than a landscape phone. It's a very nice thing. When you flip it over, the notch sometimes does get into content, but most apps just do it very seamlessly. Also now on this we have multitasking. If you turn it this way, we have multitasking. And also something very new about this phone that I really love is Face ID. Face ID is one of the best things that I say ever. So if you want to reset it, and the setup process is very nice. You turn your face in a circle, and and it pretty much guides you through the process. So another thing is that when you set it up, I think Face ID is a great thing, but when you hold your phone like far away, like when you're walking and stuff like that, it's not the best thing to do. So also when you set it up, you have to turn your head a lot, and sometimes that's very annoying. But something that we love about Face ID is how quickly it is to do. And now let's compare it to some other phones. The first phone that we're going to compare it to is the iPhone 6. Let's compare form factor and then display. So the iPhone X and the iPhone 6S or 6 or even 7 are going to be about the same size. The X is going to be a little bit bigger, but the 6S is much lighter than the X. Also, the display is much bigger and is a much bigger display. Another thing is if you compare it to the 6 or even the 7 or any of those phones, the display, if you fit it inside, it's gonna be a smaller phone, but the display is bigger. As you can see, the display on the X is actually bigger than the 6, but because of all these bezels, it feels bigger, and it's also much lighter. Now let's get started on now let's compare this to the 8 Plus. So the 8 Plus, I think it's a great phone. It's very powerful, and the battery life is very long. So now while this power is on, let me show you a few features of this. So there's a glass back. It's great for wireless charging. Wireless charging charges your phone fast. Also, fast charging is coming to iPhone later this year. Also on the X and the 8, right here it only says iPhone. On previous generations, you had a lot more text, so it looks a lot clean. The glass back, many people say that it's slippery. On both phones, I don't think it's slippery. Now let me compare these in the form factor. So this phone, it's very similar to the 8 Plus. It fits inside the display. The display is just a bit bigger. So the 8 Plus, if you were to compare it to the X, whether or not you would get it, it's the same size display, so you're not going to worry about that. Except this is just going to feel much bigger than this. This is also much heavier than this, and also the battery life on this is longer. Also another nice thing is around the sides, instead of having a metal or aluminum side, on this you have a stainless steel side and a bigger power button. As you can see right here, this is the power button. The bigger power button is on this side. Also, another great feature that I really love about the X is that the always-on display. So all these other phones, when you tap on them, they don't do anything. The X, when you tap on them, it just turns on. So that's a very easy way to get your phone in addition to Face ID. Then the swipe up to unlock, I think it's a great thing. And also another fun thing that everyone wants to know is that, what about the new wallpapers? So if you go into the wallpaper thing, let's compare them to the 8's wallpapers. So the 8 has a very nice thing. iOS 11 adds a lot of more wallpapers. So let's go into create a new wallpaper, create a new wallpaper. So on the, these are both running iOS 11, except if you go into live, you have 3 different wallpapers. Here you get these 3 special wallpapers that are on the box. One of them is on the box. Got these in addition to the 3 that you have in the live on the 8. Then in stills, let's see what you get in stills. You have these. And now let's go through these wallpapers. The 8 has some exclusive ones, but they both have a great thing of different wallpapers. Now let's look at the different dynamics the 8 has some exclusive ones, and the X also has some good ones. Now let's look at about the inside of the phone. So they both, the 8 and the X, both have the A11 Bionic chip. The 6S has the 7 has the A9 chip, and the 7 has the A10 chip, and the 6S has the A9 chip. This has the A8 chip. So they both have the A9 chip. So you're gonna say, what's different? So both of them have displays, but this one has a much brighter and much more vibrant display. Also, this one still uses Touch ID, while this uses Face ID. Also, another great thing about it, about these new generation phones, is that they have something called True Tone. True Tone is when you move your phone around, it automatically switches brightness to change to a different brightness. And it also automatically adapts your iPhone's display based on ambient light conditions to make colors appear better in different light environments. So they both have True Tone, except this one has 6 light sensors, while this one has 8. So many times you see a big difference. Let me just make sure both of the True Tone's on. Okay, so True Tone's both on these different phones. Now let's compare how different they look. So for some reason, I feel that the X, because it had more light sensors, it just adapts much better. Because if you change it, the blues seem more. And also another great thing about the X, it has a Super Retina display. The Super Retina display allows it. This is the first iPhone with an OLED display. So the Super Retina display is actually made by Samsung. So the Super Retina display is a HDR, is an organic HDR display, and it looks great. It's the best display that I've ever seen in the iPhone. It's almost 4K. It's a great display. Also another thing is these things both support LTE. They both have Wi-Fi calling, so that means you can do your calls on Wi-Fi. And another great thing is that many people thought this would be running iOS 11.1. Actually, that's not true. This phone's running iOS 11.0.1. That was leaked in rumors. Many people say, what do you think about this notch interfering with your notifications and stuff like that? The time and everything's very nice, except something that I really don't like is that before on other devices you could have it say, oh, it is in battery, it tells you how much battery you have, but on many other iPhones it says 46% and things like that. On this iPhone, because there's no room, you can't do that. Another thing many people do is how hard is it to change from a home button to a swiping gestures. I thought before, it was going to be very hard for me to switch, but after using it, you just get used to it. It just feels like the home button. It feels like you're pressing it. It just feels so clean, natural, just smooth. Another thing is that does this bar interfere with your using of the phone? This bar doesn't really interfere with me using this phone because the bar is so small, and also another thing is that it's just so smooth. You just pull up, nice. It doesn't really matter to me. Also, this thing also has a few exclusive emojis that other ones don't. That's a very nice thing. But everyone talks about one feature and one feature only, an emoji. So here, right here, under the stickers tab, you have this. It's the Animoji feature. Create custom animated emojis that use your voice and reflect your facial expressions. Ooh, look at all these different things. Let's see. So guys, in another video, I'll go over the brand new iPad, and maybe I'll do something on the 6. I'll do an Apple TV, and maybe I'll do a review on this 8 Plus. Also, something amazing about this is portrait mode. Portrait mode selfies, and 4K at 60. 4K at 60 is great, except this weird bottom bar appears on different videos, and time lapse has this bug. It doesn't show you the minutes of how long you're recording. Really weird. So that's it for today's video. In a few times later, I'll show you a review of what I like and what I dislike about this phone. Also, another thing I kind of dislike is how sometimes it gets a bit hot. Bye, and thank you for watching Coding Kid.